This is the recipe for an 800 horsepower STI. What's up, guys? Right now we're gonna go over our recipe for 800 horsepower in this GD STI. This is a project that we're working on right now. We don't have a name for it. If you guys have a suggestion, drop it in the comments. We'd love to hear it, and we definitely got to give this thing a name.
Now, this is the harness sole of the Lambo Killer that's right behind me.
Lambo Killer. There you go.
It's running a half-inch head studs, pin mains, Saints Performance connecting rods, and this particular block is going to be running higher compression, which is around 9/8 to 1, because the car is going to live on E85, and of course, our favorite King bearings. Now the cylinder head is this is a ported head. It's GSC valve train, springs retainers, and the most important thing, especially on a Subaru engine, is keeping combustion chamber sealed up properly. And we run the Cooper ring gaskets, and these gaskets come with a firing ring that kind of, I don't know, maybe you can see it on camera, but it has these little grooves that lock itself and seals itself into the chamber, and that's what keeps those high boost pressures in there. Because when you're running all that boost, you want to keep those heads sealed up.
So we got these half-inch head studs. These things are super burly. Clearly, you're not going to put an ARP 2000 regular, bolts up in here and expect to hold anything over like 25 pounds. We've got a super damper. This is going to prevent the motor from shaking itself to death. To make it quick. The harmonics can get really crazy, especially when we're going high RPMs. I'm not sure where we're gonna push this motor to, but
right, 8,500.
8,500. I mean, it's it's past like stock redline. Obviously, the heads will be able to hold it. This is gonna just give you peace of mind that we're not gonna blow the stock ones tend to like come into pieces. It's a two-piece damper, and there's rubber in between them, and they blow apart. So we're running the Exedy twin disc. These are really good clutches. Comes as a big kit. Kind of on the pricey side, but this is going to be a really easy clutch to use, especially daily driving. 800 horsepower. You're not going to want like a stage 5 ACT or something crazy like that. It's going to be terrible. Precision 6466. It's a Gen 2 ball bearing. It's all V-band. This is an ETS full kit. So this is going to be all the exhaust, the header, the turbo, all this stuff kind of works together. So everything's V-band, nothing's gonna come apart. You're gonna be able to hold all your stuff together here. The top of the motor, we've got an AMS manifold. We chose red for this car. They do come in a lot of different colors now, which is pretty cool. This is probably like the top of the line, but something that's cool about these is it's one solid intake plenum, so you don't have any TGV deletes to deal with. And if you did want to run some stuff underneath, it kind of gives you a lot of clearance for running whatever power steering lines. We use a relocation stainless braided line instead of the stock lines, obviously. It's got a lot of options. I'll show you on the bottom for adding whatever you need to add for boost reference or manifold pressure, or whatever's going to go on there. So this is going to make a huge difference, a lot more air volume going into the motor. We have another important component. Torque Solution is probably our favorite pick for fuel rails. We already have a whole fuel system. It's flex fuel. There's a crazy fuel pump. Everything's set up custom in this car. External filter in the back, and these are 2150 Fuel Injector Clinic injectors. These are the important things for the recipe that we're going to use to make 800 horsepower. So we got these Fuel Injector Clinic 2150s. They look really tiny, but this is a big injector. And when you're trying to make as much power as we're going to make with this bad boy, you're going to need these. You're not going to put some 1200s in here and expect to make anything. So super important to have the right amount of fuel. We're not trying to run out of anything. All right, so here we are at the trunk. This is where you hide the dead bodies. Also, it's a good place to put your battery, which if you take a look over here, we got an AGM battery. These things, the depletion rate on AGM batteries is like 1 billion times better than any liquid filled battery you're gonna buy. You can also mount these sideways, you can do all sorts of crazy stuff, and they last forever. You're not gonna get stranded. We chose to relocate this to the trunk just to make some room for our piping and everything for the intercooler and stuff. I believe we have a catch can up in there too, so we can show you that in a minute. But for now, I wanted to talk about the fuel system. As you can see, we got some relays run, which are very important for a fuel system, so you don't overheat your wires and all this kind of stuff. We have 2 pumps in there, twin 450 Walrose, custom sending unit and everything. Dash 8 feed line that I ran. We have an external 100 micron E85 compatible filter that you can change as well, because E85, even though it smells really good, it is very, very caustic. It'll make a lot of mess if you don't keep everything clean. You got to do frequent oil changes, yada yada yada. But everything's real accessible for the owner. It's not going to be anything that he has to worry about. You can change his filter, and that's pretty much what we got back here going on. What we also have going on is an AEM Infinity, which we're going to show you inside the car with Jesse.
This car is running an AEM Infinity ECU, which is mounted, Justin mounted really nice behind the dash. You can't see it, but it's running the AEM Infinity 506. It has all AEM net gauges, so if I wanted to switch and show oil pressure, AFR, or however you can make any gauge show whatever you wanted to show, like engine speed, oil pressure, etc. And that's what's running on the for the display of the car. This is kind of this is an Android radio. Just wanted there for Google Maps, but it has an Android radio, which is a nice feature. And also, this car is also going to have air conditioners still. 800 weight horsepower, Android radio, AEM Infinity, 2 fuel pumps, and all this jazz all in one car, which is really impressive.
So here we are. We're under the bonnet, the hood, the front. This is where all the magic happens. Clearly there's no magic happening right now because everything is on that table. This is part of the fuel system here. You can see we got the flex fuel, the E85 content sensor right here. We got the AEM fuel pressure regulator, super important obviously for keeping your pressure equal to your boost. We got a pressure sensor. This is all runs back into the computer, and it just lets everything know what's going on. We have a catch can. We picked this up at World Cup actually, and it's kind of like a custom giant ass catch can, which is exactly what this car is going to need when it's making 800 horsepower. Mishimoto rad, hella horns, 50 extra horsepower each horn. We got the rest of the rotated kit. We wrapped this downpipe V-band again. If you guys have never seen like a rotated kit, the fitment is pretty crazy. We chose to use the kit for power steering lines, so we get rid of those big metal lines, those high pressure lines, and we just run this right over the block in between. It cleans everything up, looks really nice. This guy's got some crazy headlights, a bunch of other little stuff, nothing that's really power related, but this is what's going to make the jam. We got a pitch stop upgrade. It's got coilovers. It's tons of stuff going on here. We're really excited to get the car going, and the next video that you guys see is going to be Jesse building the motor, and we're going to be putting all the components that are going to make this 800 horsepower into this block, into the motor, put the motor in the car, and then you're going to see it on the dyno. You guys want to see this car make 800 horsepower, you're going to stay tuned. The next video, we're going to be putting the motor together, we're going to put it in the car, and it's going to be on the dyno. So until then...